There's let's get into one more item here.
You can have it.
Sure, thank you. Let's get into comments. We can break this up a little bit.
Hey, buddy.
You can put comments in HTML. The tag formatting is a little weird because you open the tag and then you type it. Start with a less than symbol. All right. Oh, well, you've already got it there.
Okay.
He knows.
You studied in advance. That's all right. And then put in class. You can just type in class notes or something for your field there. And then how do you end the comment? Do you know, Mike, already?
I thought it got an exclamation.
Yeah. There's one piece missing from that. Very close.
No.
The exclamation point, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end?
At the beginning, right there. Comments are a weird case. They're the only time in HTML that you're actually going to put the content of the item itself actually inside the brackets. All of the other times they'll appear outside of the brackets. But I wanted to show you comments early so that we can go through this as we create this document. We can create notes of other sections. But whatever you put in here, whatever you put between this unit and this unit won't appear on the page. It won't be rendered by the browser.
Oh.
It doesn't appear there at all. If you view source in the code, it does appear in the code. And every once in a while you can look at a web page and you can see what the developers have put in comments, especially developers working to each other will put in comments so that somebody can go back later and maintain it.
Oh, so that's just for behind the scenes, kind of like notes to each other.
Mm-hmm. It's used to note areas of the page or sections of the page that you can keep track of what they are, especially when you have really long lines. You don't have to scroll across the entire line to see what it is.
But you'd have to, you wouldn't want to, just put anything you want in there because anyone could see it, right? Any user that views the page can see your comment.
Right. It's very rare that people are doing that, but yes, it is possible, and search engines technically can pick it up, but they're not going to index it. When we get, I don't know how many of you are coming to the PHP class next week, but PHP is it's a script. It's rendered on the server and it's executed on the server, and so you can put comments into a PHP script that never actually make it into the HTML that gets sent to the browser. And so that's even better if you have a choice of writing comments between one or the other. Always write them in PHP because users will never see it. Only people editing your script will. Let's talk a little bit about span tags. This is your turn, Travis. We'll just pass this down. Let's put a span tag around Fox, would you please? Span.
Fox.
Yep.
Fox, take your pick, either one.
Okay.
Span lets you apply more specific elements.
Is it closing?
Yep. And then would you delete the U and the slash U? Thank you.
Why is called span? I know what it is, but I don't know why it's called span.
Well, the early tags I showed you at first, bold and italics and underline, are very specific. They serve just that purpose. That's all they do. Span is more universal. You can apply multiple things to the span. Is more specific. And here comes the other aspect of HTML. Other than just tags, you also have attributes that modify the tags. So within the first span tag, right there, you can start putting in attributes. So in this case, why don't you type style equals, and then in quotation marks.
Single or double?
Works both ways. I prefer double. Double is usually standard, but it works both ways. Let's say color, red. Now you have red text. Browsers will recognize most of the basic colors, so you can color them this way. If you want to start getting into more advanced colors, more precise colors, there's a subject that I recommend looking up on Wikipedia, which is hex colors, H-E-X. It'll give you a brief introduction of what hex colors are and what they mean. It's a six-digit code for a color, but it'll also give you a chart of most of the main hex colors that are out there. So you can just go and pick one. Oh, that's FF6612. To get a very precise color.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I have a color wheel if anybody wants it.
Yep.
link to a color wheel where you can build colors that are web, not just web safe, but even better.
If you forward that to me, I'll put it on the blog site.
Okay, awesome.
Okay,
All right.
cool.
The notes.
But as far as, like I said, basic colors, you can just do something like this. Let's try another one, would you? Let's try font hyphen family colon Arial. There's one problem on the line. You see what it is?
This one.
It's not going to be able. The browser isn't going to be able to read this.
Oh, I see. Right?
No.
No.
In this case, you've got close. You've got the quotation marks around the word itself, which it won't be able to read that. If you have three of them on the line, it won't be able to read that. And so actually, the quotation mark goes right there, and then delete this one.
And
There you go.
Space, right? You don't want a
Would
space.
space matter?
You can put a space in there. That's fine.
Doesn't matter.
Well,
Oh, okay, good. Someone.
It
It's depending on how clean you want to.
exactly, and there's some personal preference when it comes to how much you space these things out.
I thought you could not have a
But that's correct. Everything that's within quotation marks is read as an attribute on the tag within it. If you do need to put some kind of marks on it, that's where you would start to use single quotes. So remember, the double tags are the larger tag within it and then single tags within it, because if you have double quotation marks within it, it'll only read that portion of it, and then it won't understand what the rest of it is. It's just gibberish to it after that. So at this point, we've used font family, and so now we have a word that's rendered in Arial.
Okay.
So if you want the entire page in Arial, you would simply do that to the entire page, although I wouldn't recommend using a span for the entire page. I'll get into how to modify the entire page later.
So why does it have to be a span? Is it just by nature of when you do fonts and colors? It's a span?
Span allows you to do more things. Span allows you to do colors, it'll let you do fonts, it'll let you do size. If you want to try font size.
Align them too, right?
Yeah, you can do
What about class?
text align. I'll get into class in a few minutes, but class is a way of assigning a group of descriptors to a particular class, and then you can apply that class to anything on the page as many times as you want to. So it's a way of remembering them, so you don't have to keep typing it every single time. Right.
PT, I think.
Well, that wasn't a lot bigger.
Yeah, that's all right. It's bigger enough we can see it though.
Yeah.
We have font size 20 pixels here.
Oh, 20 pixels.
Now there's a difference. You can use point on the web, but point doesn't line up the same as Microsoft Word and Adobe Photoshop and other products, and that's often a problem with when Art says it's 15 point. In the Photoshop file, what we get is when we put 15 point on there, it renders differently.
So we have to put PX instead of
You
PT?
need to be designed with PX.
All right.
Yes.
Definitely.
That's pixels. You can't get more precise a change than from 20
No.
pixels to 21 pixels. That's as small as it gets.
Back to the color issue.
Sure.
Sorry, let me go back for a second. I know you said that most of the normal colors, red, blue, black, they're going to be recognized. And I know we've got fireweed is sticking in my head. When we have that type of situation, is the artist then providing that color, or are we giving a sample and then the developers are trying to match up the color?
What color comes in?
We give the color to the developer.
Okay,
But
that's
the
all.
problem is that we don't choose exactly the color that the lady looks because she has a different color rendering.
I get that,
So that's
but I just wanted to be sure. Thanks.
You know,
Sure.
so
If you want to match a color on the web, if you have Photoshop, there's a nice tool in Photoshop that's an eyedropper tool. If you take a picture off of the web that you found, you can load that picture in Photoshop and then use the eyedropper tool, and it'll give you the exact text color value that you can then use in your span tag.
Okay.
So, other questions so far?
Can you go back just for a second? If
Sure.
you're doing two things at once, the color and the font, for example, I know you said double quotes on the outside and single quotes on the inside, but can you show exactly? It just
Sure.
goes into one and then the other?
Actually, it gets separated with a semicolon.
Okay.
Here, Travis, if you would please. And you can put a space or not put a space. It works both ways. So now we have 20 pixel and red.
So in the span, you would always just have one set of quotes.
I'm sorry, one set of
One set of quotes, and then you'd separate other like attributes with semicolon.
Mhm.